So the Israelites had a great victory over the Midianites, and they are one step closer to entering into the promised land. But it's never that straightforward, is it? So there are some complications. Numbers 32:1. Now the sons of Reuben and of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle, and they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead on the east side of the Jordan. And behold, the place was suitable for cattle. As the Israelites have gotten closer to the promised land, the land has improved tremendously. They're no longer in the wilderness of Sinai or the other wildernesses that they have been in, those desertish areas. They were very harsh. But here the land is good. And the tribes of Reuben and Gad, who have lots of cattle, see this great land and they wish to settle here. This isn't the promised land, this is the land adjacent to it. So we're going to see some intense negotiation. Numbers 32:2. So the sons of Gad and of Reuben came and said to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the leaders of the congregation. 32:3. The country round about, Ataroth, Diabon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elilah, Sebam, Nebo, and Ebion. 32:4. The land the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is the land for cattle, and your servants have cattle. So now the sons of Gad and Reuben, presumably the leaders, or maybe there's a group of them, are explaining just how great this land is to their fellow Israelites, from the congregation to the high priest to Moses himself. And they're listing off the names of this portion of land and how this was the land that the Lord smote. So the land that the Lord helped the Israelites conquer. The Lord delivered them great military victories over these portions of land. In the last chapter, we saw the spoils of war, what they brought back after the battle of this last campaign. And it was tremendous. The land would have had to have been really good for them to raise the quantity of animals that they had. It's understandable that it would be desirable to these men who are also herdsmen. Numbers 32:5. And they said, If we have found favor in your sight, let this land be given to your servants for a possession. Do not take us over the Jordan. So here we go. They've asked a question, and of course they're asking in the most polite way they possibly can in order to try to receive a favorable outcome. There's a multitude of reasons why this is not the greatest of ideas, as we'll see here. Numbers 32:6. And Moses said to the sons of Gad and of Reuben, Shall your brethren go to war while you sit here? So if the tribes of Gad and Reuben stayed here on this side of the river when the rest of Israel tries to enter into the promised land, they would be abandoning their brethren. And that's what Moses is pointing out here. Just how awful of a thing that would be to do. Betraying their own. In this world, in this time, Israel didn't really have any allies. The whole world was against them. The whole world was very hostile at that point in time as well. So by splitting up, it would be a bad thing. Numbers 32:7. Why do you discourage the hearts of the Israelites from going over into the land which the Lord has given them? Now we have a section here relating to the morale. And it would be very soul-crushing to have their brethren abandon them. They've been wandering the wilderness for 40 years, and it looked like stuff was going to turn around, and they were going to enter into the new land, and things were going to be good. Things were going to be better. And then to have an event like this transpire, it's just soul-crushing. And Moses is pointing that out here. Numbers 32:8. Thus your fathers did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. 32:9. For when they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the hearts of the Israelites from going into the land the Lord had given them. So now we have the comparison here to the event that transpired before, when the spies of Israel went into the land to see what it was like, and they came back and gave a bad report. And this led to the wilderness wandering, which was a very severe punishment, in that all those who were there, I guess 20 years old and upward, never got to enter into the promised land, and were forced to die in the wilderness, a place that was not their home, die as strangers in the land. Moses might be experiencing some level of deja vu, seeing the events that transpired before happening again in a similar form. The people being discouraged, the people murmuring against the Lord, and what kind of punishment will it be this time? Numbers 32:10. And the Lord's anger was kindled on that day, and he swore, saying, we have seen Moses and his reaction, but now we will see what the Lord has to say about this event. Numbers 32:11. Surely none of the men who came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. 32:12. Except Caleb son of Jephunneh the Kenzanite, and Joshua son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. 32:13. And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. So here we have a little bit of a preamble here, where the Lord is rehashing the idea of those events that transpired 40 years ago when the Israelites failed to enter into the promised land. Numbers 32:14. And behold, you are risen up in your father's stead, a brood of sinful men, to increase still more the fierce anger of the Lord against Israel. 32:15. For if you turn from following him, he will again abandon them in the wilderness, and you will destroy all this people. As they have suggested things by settling in this land and abandoning their people, the Lord would perform the same type of judgment as he did previously, that they need to go into the land together to take it. And if a couple of the tribes are missing, that's just not going to happen, and they are going to be destroyed as a result. But this isn't the end of it. We're going to see a nice solution to this issue. Numbers 32:16. But they came near to him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our flocks, and walled settlements for our little ones. 32:17. But we will be armed and ready to go before the Israelites until we have brought them to their place. Our little ones shall dwell in the fortified settlements because of the people of the land. So the sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad, they're not ready to give up. So they're proposing a compromise, that they're going to build their settlements here. They're going to have their fortifications, and they're going to leave the kids behind, probably the kids and the wives, and they're going to march to battle with the rest of their brethren. So they'll have their weapons ready, and they're going to go with them and conquer the land of Canaan. And then after they're done conquering the land, they can return back to this territory and their settlements and look after their cattle, and all will be good. Numbers 32:18. We will not return to our homes until the Israelites have inherited every man his inheritance. 32:19. For we will not inherit with them on the west side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side of the Jordan eastward. So this all sounds good. They are going to help out with the conquering, and then they're going to return to this land, and they're going to dwell there and take it as their inheritance, as their portion. Numbers 32:20. Moses replied, if you will do as you say, going armed before the Lord to war. 32:21. And every armed man of you will pass over the Jordan before the Lord until he has driven out his enemies before him. 32:22. And the land is subdued before the Lord. Then afterward you shall return and be guiltless in this matter before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. So this proposal is acceptable, provided that the terms are followed to completion, that they need to send every man, and they need to actually do those things, and then it would be accepted. Numbers 32:23. But if you will not do so, behold, you have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. It sounds like there's going to be a very harsh punishment if they fail to uphold their part of the bargain. Numbers 32:24. Build settlements for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that of which you have spoken. 32:25. And the sons of Gad and of Reuben said to Moses, your servants will do as my Lord commands. So now that they have been granted permission, they are going to go and do these things. Numbers 32:26. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. 32:27. But your servants will pass over, every man armed for war, before the Lord, to battle, as my Lord says. The conversation is continuing, and they're spelling out more of the technical details for what they are doing. They're going to make cities in Gilead, and they're going to prepare for war. So they're doing the part that they agreed to and suggested, I guess, in the first place. Numbers 32:28. So Moses gave commandments concerning them to Eleazar the priest, and Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers' houses of the tribes of Israel. So Moses is giving commands to the high priest and to Joshua. Joshua is going to take over once Moses is no longer alive. We're getting to that point. So he is making plans for after his own demise, for these things to be looked after, and informing the heads of Israel, so the other tribes have an idea what's going on, letting them know that Reuben and Gad are going to take this land over here, but they're still going to send their military might when it comes to taking over the land of Canaan. Numbers 32:29. And Moses said to them, if the sons of Gad and Reuben will pass with you over the Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land shall be subdued before you, then you shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. 32:30. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. If everything goes to plan, they're going to be able to take that land in Gilead. But if it doesn't go quite as planned, they're still going to have their inheritance in Israel. So they will not be abandoned in the event that something goes wrong. And that's good. They're being looked after regardless. Having this provision here is like a safety net. Numbers 32:31. The sons of Gad and Reuben answered, as the Lord has said to your servants, so we will do. 32:32. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side of the Jordan may be ours. I'm sure this was a tremendously happy event here, knowing that they would be granted permission to have this land. For when they first brought it up, it was not met very favorably at all. But now with the terms kind of inked out on the page, it became possible, something that could be achieved. And we'll see what happens later. Numbers 32:33. Moses gave to them, to the sons of Gad and of Reuben, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the kingdom of Shion, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land with its cities and their territories, even the cities round about the country. So now we are going to get a list of the lands that they will possess. But now we have a mention of the tribe of Manasseh. As we saw previously in an earlier chapter, Manasseh conquered some of these lands on their own. So a portion of the land belongs to them as well, because they were the ones that subjugated the land. We're going to learn a little bit more about this when we get to Deuteronomy. Numbers 32:34. And the sons of Gad built Dibon, Ataroth, Aror. 32:35. Aphron, Sophan, Jazer, Jogbeha. 32:36. Beth Nimrah and Beth Haran, fortified cities and folds for sheep. 32:37. And the sons of Reuben built Heshbon, Eleah, Kiriathim. So now we see which cities that Gad would inhabit and which cities that Reuben would inhabit in that land. Numbers 32:38. Nabon and Bel-Melon, their names were to be changed, and Shibon, and they gave other names to the cities they built. So some of the cities here, they're going to need to be renamed, for their names are quite offensive. For instance, Baal-Meon. Baal, of course, is the pagan deity, and it would be ridiculous for the Israelites to have in their possession a city named after a pagan deity when they are the worshipers and people of the Lord. So that would just be ridiculous. So these cities have to be renamed. There could be other reasons why some of the other ones need to be renamed, but it's their cities now. They can do with them what they want. Numbers 32:39. And the sons of Machir, son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and took it and disposed of the Amorites who were in it. 32:40. And Moses gave Gilead to Machir, son of Manasseh, and he settled in it. So here's a little bit more on that portion of the tribe of Manasseh. We have Machir here conquering this land and Moses granting it to him as a possession afterwards. We saw this event transpire before, and this is just kind of a footnote of it, and there's a little bit more of it in Deuteronomy as well. Numbers 32:41. Jear, son of Manasseh, took their villagers and called them Havroth Jair. 32:42. And Nobah took Kenath and its villages and called it Nobah, after his own name. Some additional lands here for the people of Manasseh. Manasseh really is a go-getter tribe, and they seem to have a lot of faith in the Lord, and the Lord will deliver them. And it's cool to see what the tribe of Manasseh can do.